Welcome to the Million Pound Mission Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Shively, the PhD, the previously heavy dude, and I'm on a 1 million pound mission. Now, I've personally lost over 100 pounds, and I've applied what I've learned from my own transformation journey to help my hometown clients lose over 35,000 pounds in just 5 years. Now I'm on a mission to produce over 1 million pounds of results by delivering my best weekly tips, motivation, inspirational stories, and transformation strategies so that you can gain clarity about what you need to do to reach your goals and give you the confidence to take action. And the perfect time to start taking action is right now. So let's do this. All right, my friends, welcome to another edition of the Million Pound Mission Podcast. I'm so psyched to have you. It's your buddy Adam, the PhD, the previously heavy dude. I've got a great episode for you. I kind of cut loose at this one. We've been hitting some serious topics lately, and this one's all about great information, great fun, and great guests. You're going to love these guys. But first, I want to give you guys a shout out with our iTunes review of the week. Who are we going to make podcast famous this week? Let's see. We've got Saucy Girl 13, probably my favorite name so far. Saucy Girl 13. Here's what she has to say about our podcast here. Love. Losing weight is hard. Love that this podcast tackles the underlying issues that cause us to eat, like the one that deals with anxiety. Nervous eating, anyone? Thank you for helping us. Saucy Girl 13, thank you for leaving an iTunes review, and thank you for supporting the show, and congratulations on becoming our next podcast famous listener. All right, speaking of supporting the show, here's how you guys can support the podcast this week. I want you to check out our brand new sponsor, TryAboutTime.com. You can go to www.tryaboutTime.com, enter the promo code Transformation Coach, all one word, lowercase, Transformation Coach, and save 25% off your order. This is my go-to website for clean, gluten-free protein. I love looking at the back, hitting that label, and seeing things that I understand what they are. There are no weird chemicals or additives in there. There are 5 ingredients, and I know what each one is. I love it. So go to TryAboutTime.com and check them out. Save that 25% with the promo code Transformation Coach. And last, in our intro, you guys know what's up next here. It's time for the PhD to give you something for free. I love giving away stuff, and I love giving you things where we can connect. And that's what this next one is all about. This week, we're going to be doing a holiday season survival workshop. It is 100% free. It's a 3-day workshop. I'm going to be going live in Instagram and on Facebook, and you can get all the information, and you can get registered for this free workshop on our website. Just go to www.transformationcoach.me, and you'll see the registration link at the top of the page there. And this is a 3-day workshop. It is live Sunday, November 19th through Tuesday, November 21st, 2017. So if you're listening to this, I know a lot of you binge listen to the episodes. I appreciate that, by the way. I appreciate you guys putting in the effort to catch up. But if it is not around that time, I'm sorry, but always stay plugged in because I'm doing free workshops all the time. So November 19th through November 21st, Holiday Season Survival Workshop. Get signed up on the website, www.transformationcoach.me. All right, so let's dig into this episode. I am fired up for episode 63 with the men of Mind Pump Media. I'm bringing on Sal, Justin, and Adam to the show. We are going to introduce them here briefly and then turn them loose on your earbuds. I'm so excited for this one. These guys bring it. It's a great episode, and you guys are going to love it. So let's talk a little bit about these guys, introduce you to them, and then we will get started. So Sal was 14 years old when he first touched his first weight, and from that moment he was hooked. Growing up asthmatic, frequently sick, and painfully skinny, Sal saw weightlifting as a way to change his body and his self-image. At age 18, his passion for the art and science of resistance training was so consuming that he decided to make it his profession and become a personal trainer. By 19, he was managing health clubs, and by 22, he owned his own gym. Now, after over 18 years as a personal trainer, he has dedicated himself to bringing science and truth to the fitness industry, and Sal is also a dedicated father to a son and a daughter. Now, Adam Schafer is an IFBB men's physique pro and fitness expert. Adam made his entrance into the fitness world over 15 years ago and has continued to send shockwaves throughout the community ever since. He's a man of many talents who wears many hats. He's first and foremost a certified fitness expert who has an insatiable desire to help people in need of major lifestyle changes and daily accountable motivation. He's also incredibly driven entrepreneur and business-minded individual with a vision that continually challenges his colleagues and peers to think bigger and achieve more. Now, Justin Andrews has an incredible passion to disrupt the personal training industry and create groundbreaking programs and tools that fitness professionals and clients alike can benefit from. The fitness industry in general needs a massive facelift to speak more to the generation growing up with a more advanced technology toolkit. Justin's approach is to create programs that utilize technology as it advances and cut through the millions of options people face every day when seeking specific information relating to their fitness needs. Justin has over 14 years of experience as a health and fitness professional with a proven track record. So that's a little bit about the three men of Mind Pump. I do want to say one thing before we get started. I've upgraded my rating on iTunes as explicit. There is some adult language in this one, so put the earmuffs on the kids or whatever you need to do. And I tell my guests to be them. I don't like to edit the podcast at all, really. I like to just be raw and out there, and they speak how they want to speak, and it's all good. And these guys bring the energy, they bring the knowledge, they bring a few F-bombs as well, all right? And that's all good. It's all good. It's just them being them. I'm really, really excited to introduce you to these guys. It's going to be super entertaining, so just hold on to your hats and get ready for episode 63 with the men of Mind Pump. It's your buddy Adam, and I am psyched up because I have the men of Mind Pump Media here. These guys, I've been a fan of their podcast for quite a while now. I just sipped on a nice warm cup of cordyceps extract, and I have done my brain FM for my nap time. So I'm totally ready to rock with these guys. The thing I like about these fellas is that they drop serious knowledge, but they entertain you at the same time. So many health and fitness podcasts, like I know they're good for me. It's like eating broccoli. I eat it because I know it's good for me. And a lot of podcasts are that way, but these guys are like the healthy protein pudding of podcasting because they give you something that's good for you and they deliver it in an entertaining fashion. All right. So guys, I want to welcome you to the show. We've got Adam, we've got Sal, and we've got Justin, the men of Mind Pump. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah. We're doing great, man.
I like that fucking intro right there.
That's probably the best
protein
intro.
pudding.
Yeah.
I just found out about protein pudding maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, right?
Got so excited.
I don't remember who we were talking to.
No, it was we were doing just a show. We were having a good time bullshitting.
Oh, it was a question. That was a Q&A days.
And I talked about protein pudding, and Adam's eyes lit up.
Yeah.
Like if I told him
he found gold.
the cure for cancer or something.
I didn't know it existed. I've seen protein jello. I've seen protein in almost everything, but I had not seen protein pudding yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the hunt.
Yeah, I listened to that episode. That was an epic episode because you guys brought back a lot of memories about like corn pops and all the old cereals that I did back in the 80s, growing up. So that was pretty special as well.
I just watched Jerry Seinfeld's Netflix stand-up. If you guys haven't watched it, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
I was a huge Seinfeld fan growing up, and he did a little bit on cereals. It was really funny because I literally just watched that the next night after we talked about that, and he talks about how ridiculous cereals are, and he started naming off brands that take me down memory lane, and then he brings up Cookie Crisp.
Oh, it's fucking
Crisp ruins it all.
Cookie Crisp.
And it's crazy when you think about it that we feed and he's like, it's not like
It's like crack
cookies.
cocaine.
It is fucking cookies.
Yeah.
You pour your kid
milk
a
on
bowl
cookies.
of fucking cookies for breakfast. Like, how bad is
What the
that?
fuck were we thinking?
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's an awesome documentary too. I watched that I think a couple days ago. So yeah, I'm feeling you on the Cookie Crisp. All right. So I talk about you guys on my social. I recommend a lot of your stuff and a lot of stuff that you recommend. We'll get into that in a minute. But I kind of describe you guys as the Golden State Warriors of podcasting. You're like this podcasting super team that has formed to dominate health and fitness in the podcasting spectrum. So how the heck did you guys come together and form this and decide to do the podcast?
Well, being that I'm Stephen Curry, I called up.
I'm Kevin Durant.
So,
I mean, it's obvious.
When Adam was a child, he tripped and fell into a radioactive pool.
At
the time, I was studying the formation of cosmic rays, and I got blasted with radiation in the sky. And then Justin, he was a mad scientist and created some protein powder that turned him into a monster. Together, we form Mind Pump.
Yeah.
No,
it's kind of like the thing.
We've all been in the fitness industry for a very long time. Believe it or not, I didn't know, or I had never met Adam or Justin until right before we started Mind Pump. So I actually didn't know them. I just knew of them because we had all worked for 24 Hour Fitness. That's how we all started our fitness careers years ago, decades ago for me. And I had heard of them. I had heard of Adam in particular because he was in management and I was in management. We knew people mutually. And just years later, we just made contact through social media, got on the phone, and decided we should all meet. And that was it. Literally, the first day we all sat down and met, that was it. We're going to do a podcast. And we didn't never look back since.
I think part of the magic, though, is all of us have been doing this for over 15 years. So, I know, because you're Adam, I know you're in the fitness industry, so you understand the egos that are involved in it and the camps that are involved in it. And we've been in it for long enough to have seen that and been a part of that dogma. So a lot of what we talk about on the show is a lot of the mistakes that we made as professionals, because we were getting fed the propaganda and bullshit, and we were sharing it with all of our clients. And so part of that is just flat out experience. And what's kind of unique and different is that although we have similar ideologies between the three of us, we do have very different backgrounds, even though we all even work for a similar company. Because Justin really kind of hung around the sport performance world, like he's into training athletes, although all of us have done everything when it comes to like what types of clients we train. He tends to kind of hang in that area. Sal was into the advanced age and does a lot of holistic stuff, and I was with the soccer moms and training like your bikini and men's physique type athletes. So we have a very yet similar but very different backgrounds. And when we all kind of got together and sat in the room the very first time, all the things that we saw that were wrong with the industry were all in line, and we felt like nobody was sharing this message. Everybody in fitness, they want to create these camps. Like you're the the bodybuilder guy, or you're the sports performance guy, or the holistic hippie guy, or the CrossFit guy. It's like everybody becomes a guy, and they get specialized, and then it turns into this: my camp is better than your camp, or this is the latest science that we've attached ourselves to, which makes it that therefore what we're practicing and telling people about is more superior. And all of that's just a bunch of bullshit. And there's a lot to learn from all these different modalities. And that was something that we all agreed on. Although we had different backgrounds and things that we were involved in, we all agreed that we could take from each other. And I think that's really the message that we deliver that's so unique.
Yeah, that's really how it worked. I mean, we just had all these different experiences and different ways we trained our clients and kind of put it in together as a melting pot. And we assessed Sal's program initially with MAPS, and we went through it and just realized, the potential with it and like how much, that resonated with all of us. And this just, spun the wheels even further. I'm like, wow, I could use this kind of a template and formula. Whoa. Did a race car just go by? What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
That was probably our new producer over there.
You trying to screw me up, man? Yeah. So, anyways, so we just like collectively, like our experiences helped to create, like answers that we felt like people needed in the industry, and like to get away from just putting it into just a label of like CrossFit bodybuilding, this or that. Like we wanted to provide like an answer for people with these mass programs. So anyway,
Sal's cracking up right now because of all the people that get interrupted is poor Justin telling his story over there. Fucking Taylor hits.
Yeah. I don't even know if people even heard that or not. But
what do you mean?
I'm pretty sure they did. Yeah, that's
yeah. Okay. Did you hear it on your end, Adam?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good.
And it's totally staying in. Like I edit 0 of my podcast, so that's
good.
Dude, yes,
love it.
It stays in. It stays in. Like I have 2 Labrador retrievers that are like 13 and 10, and they're old. And my dog Gus will like always like fart in the background of my podcast and groan and stuff like that. So yeah, we leave it in. It's all good. It makes it real.
It's your dog.
What's up? I love what you guys do with the podcast and what you're saying, because I talk a lot about using the right tool for the job. And if that is more of a CrossFit protocol, then cool. But you may need to switch it up to more of like, you know, a bodybuilding technique or whatever. But it's like, don't try to force yourself into some ideology that doesn't fit your goals. And, you know, people get mixed up in that. So that is what I love about your podcast and why I feel like I resonate with that, with the message you guys put out there. So I
well,
really
the other
appreciate
piece that people don't realize is that, and it took us, I think, each of us years to really figure this out, is that most people fucking fail. Like if you're being completely honest as a personal trainer and you look back at the hundreds or potentially thousands of people you've trained, what is the percentage of people that actually have true success where they reach their goal and they maintain it for the rest of their life? That number is really small. And so when you really start to dive into that and unpack that and go, why is that? Why is it so? If we have all this science and new cutting edge this and these new modalities that are so awesome, if we're learning so much more about the human body and physiology, we know so much more, why the fuck is it that we're getting worse, right? And a lot of that is because it stems from the psychological part. And that's a piece that I think not a lot of people talk about, that we try and talk more about, is that, you know, we can get all caught up in whose way of training or what tools, what's better for this or that. You can get it. We can have debates all day long about that shit. But in reality, none of that shit matters if they don't fix what's going on up inside their head. And so we talk a lot about, you know, self-image and body image and your relationship with food, your relationship with exercise, and your relationship with yourself. And truly, that's where everything starts. And if you can't figure that fucking piece out, then all this other stuff really doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I've talked before about, it's like driving a car and there's a giant hole in the road and you drive the car and it falls down in the hole. And instead of fixing the hole, you go back and get a bike, and then you get the bike and you drive it into the same hole. And then you go and walk into the same hole. It's about fixing the hole versus the modality that you use to get there. So yeah, we're right on with that. We are right on with that, my brothers. So one of the things that I love about you guys' show is that it's so damn funny. Like I listened to it last Wednesday. I was driving to pick up my son, and I'm listening to the episode about the most embarrassing moments, and I'm literally crying. I'm laughing so hard. I mean, like, I look like a freak showing up to pick up my kid at school because I have like tears coming down my face. And so I asked, I put out on social that I wanted to ask you guys some questions, and we had some recommendations. One person recommended that I asked you guys for your most embarrassing moment in the gym. So like a gym moment where things got a little crazy.
I have one that comes to mind right away. And I don't even know if
this.
I've shared this on our podcast before or not.
Yes. Exclusive.
This was during, let's see here, I was at the Hillsdale gym. So this is around 2006 or 8-ish, somewhere around there, when I feel like this was the major rise of functional training. You know, this is when everybody had the stability balls out, the Dyna disc out, and we were balancing on whatever thing we could and doing exercises. And, you know, I 100%, you know, one of these trainers that bought into this movement because I was helping train my client's core, and it was creative and cool. And let's be honest, if you're a personal trainer and you're doing all these crazy, weird things on a stability ball, people stare and watch, and it was potential leads and potential business for me. Yeah. And so I would work out like this all the time. And I am kneeling on a stability ball, doing tricep push downs on the cable. Couldn't be a bigger asshole move if you tried, right, in the first place. So even though I'm performing it correctly, I should be slapped upside the head with a dumbbell just for doing some stupid shit like that.
Ball out from under you.
But like I said, in defense of how stupid that is, that was the reason, that was the thought process behind me. Was I knew that I was getting attention. I was a trainer in the facility, so I knew people were looking at me. And so that was the intention, was to look, what the fuck is this guy doing over here? And then I always had some sort of a spiel or spin that I could put on it when someone came over and talked to me, and it would eventually lead to a lead for me. I'd book an appointment with that person. So I'm kneeling on this stability ball like an asshole, doing tricep push downs on the cable crossover machine. And I'm struggling a bit to push it down. My triceps are starting to fatigue. And that's all it took was for me to, slightly turn to the side. And that stability ball went shooting out from underneath me. And I completely landed on the side of my neck and head and barrel rolled like 2 times. And and the ball went shooting across the gym and ran into a rack of dumbbell shit and made all kinds of noise. And the whole place was staring at me as I'm laying on the floor, picking up my headphones out of my ears. So that was probably one of the most embarrassing gym workout stories I got.
God, I have to narrow. You want me to narrow it down? Because I got quite a few, man. One, when I was 15, I was lifting weights at the YMCA. I started lifting weights real early. I think I was about 14 or 13. So I was 15 years old. I'm at the Y. And all I wanted to do was get big. Just wanted to build muscle. And I would read Flex magazine and, Muscle and Fitness, or otherwise known as Muscle and Fiction. And I would do whatever techniques they talked about that were considered mass building. And there was this article, I think it was Flex magazine, and there were, it was broken up into 2 categories. Like, this is the stuff, these are the techniques you do if you want to get cut, and then these are the mass building techniques. So, of course, I took all the mass building techniques and I just combined them, and that's all I did, right? So here I am, I'm at the YMCA, and instead of bench pressing with 45-pound plates or 35-pound plates or whatever I would use normally on each side, I decided I'm going to do a strip set, because strip sets are mass building. That's what this magazine said. So I had a shit ton of 5-pound plates on each side. And what I was going to do was I'd go to failure, rack it, slide them off, go to failure, rack it, slide them off, and so on. So I didn't have collars on the weights because I had to be real fast. So I'm doing this, and I'm going to first set, boom, I go to failure, get up, switch, get back down, press, go to failure, switch, go back down. I keep doing this, and I get down, I think by the 3rd or 4th set, like I got nothing left of me, right? There's this hot girl that worked out at the Y all the time. And she was older than me, but she was, smoking. And I'm 15, so I'm basically testosterone. I am testosterone
you're interested in everything.
Personified, you know what I mean? So I got to show off. I want to show this girl how badass I am, even though I have a bunch of 5-pound plates on each side. So I'm pressing this thing. It ain't going anywhere. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to rest this on my chest and have to sit up with this bar. This is embarrassing. So I just grind it. And I'm pushing and fucking fart hell loud, twist the bar because it's going down. So one arm drops. But now I've got, and if for anybody who's familiar with basic physics,
or if you've seen this before, because this is something I've seen before.
As the many 5-pound plates start to slide to the one side that's lower and slide out to the end, it becomes exponentially heavier. So now it's like all those weights come crashing down, but I'm still pushing with all my strength. As those weights come off, now my strength pushes the bar, it flips into the mirror, breaks the mirror. Everybody's looking at me, including the hot girl. I'm looking around, and I literally, no joke, if the manager of the YMCA then is listening now, I apologize, because I stopped and walked out, and I went and signed up at 24 Hour Fitness. Never went back to the YMCA ever again.
Yeah.
Nice. That was the start of your career.
But I didn't know that you didn't pay for it.
No, I literally flung it.
You asshole.
You heard glasses everywhere.
Oh,
everybody's looking at me, and the instant thought in my head was,
I gotta get out of here.
fuck that, I gotta
I'm out of here.
grab my shit, and I walked right out.
I have a fart story too, but that's not even.
So that's not even a good one. That's a usual. It's a usual Tuesday.
Thing. Yeah, it's a usual.
Taco,
I don't even talk about that one.
Tuesday.
I got a different one. I'm not even gonna go down that road. For me, I was training clients in, the latest thing was medicine balls, and not just medicine ball specifically, but like the slam ball. So the one that supposedly has like, when you slam it down, it's supposed to stick onto the ground, right? And so I'm trying to describe this to my clients and like get them to do like some power moves and some slams with, this medicine ball. And so one of my friends that was a trainer in the gym, he had one. And so I was like, hey man, can I borrow your medicine ball? And like, I want to do some cool stuff and some new moves with my clients. And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. So he gave me like, a medicine ball. And so I was kind of describing the process and like going through, and then I went to go demonstrate it. and I went to go demonstrate. I'm lifting it all the way up over my head. I'm getting fully extended, and I'm describing this, and then I slam it down as hard as I can, and I look down, and it bounced back up, hit me in the nose, and almost knocked me out, gave me a bloody nose. And I was just like, dude, I thought you said this was the slam ball. He's like, oh, I thought you wanted the medicine ball. And dude, I literally saw stars, and I thought I was going to be knocked out.
Yeah, self-knockout. Always impressive.
Yeah.
Now, you made me think of something with the fart story, because I've always wanted to be able to ask this to other people in the fitness industry. I feel like this is a question that needs to be addressed in every sort of certification that goes out there in health and fitness. And it is the question of, do you acknowledge or do you ignore the client farts?
100% you acknowledge. I always, because it happens a lot. I mean,
it happens a lot.
I tell all my clients this when they would hire me.
Nice push. That's right.
Right after they fart, fart, I'll laugh, because I'm not going to not laugh. It's impossible. I'll laugh, and then I'll tell them,
oh, that's a squeaker.
At some point, every single client will fart, so don't worry about it.
Make them feel good.
Yeah, and then I'll fart back. Just make it I had this old lady I used to train. Let's see. What was her name? It wasn't Carol.
You brought her up a few times.
She was her Kim. Kim was her name. I won't give you her last name. I don't think she's alive anymore. She was 83 when I trained her, and she had core stability issues. She's older. Every single time she got up off of something, so whether she stood up off a bench, off a chair, whatever, she was going to fart every single time. So it was like 10, 15 farts a workout.
Yeah, it's like jet propulsion.
To the point where, like, I would tell the other trainers that worked at my facility, like, she's going to fart 6 times today, watch. And sure enough, she'd get up and she couldn't hear very well, so I don't even know if she realized what she was doing. But it was every time, every single time.
You guys had like the over-under on the farts?
Yeah, I think early on, though, I didn't tell people until I realized how common it was. I think the very first time I was probably like, oh shit! Like, what do I say?
Just keep counting. Keep counting.
I remember it was like one of my clients that was a girl, and she was pushing the leg press, and I stacked her up with some good weight. I remember, her squeezing out and probably going the very first time, like, oh shit, do I say something?
That last rep.
After you've trained long enough and you've been farted on enough times, you finally realize, fuck this, I'm not gonna not say anything anymore. That way it's not awkward.
I appreciate when they let you know, like they give you warning. Like one of my clients, she was doing crunches.
She gave you warning?
Yeah, because she's a big lady, and she's like, oh honey, you're gonna want to vacate. And I was like, okay. I left. It was pungent.
I actually shit my pants one time. Wow. But I was by myself. I was lifting in the backyard, and I just pushed, man, and then dropped a deucer.
Too hard.
Yeah, I had to go change my pants, but it's gonna happen at some point.
At least you didn't get that peak.
That has not happened to me.
Yeah, you never shit yourself while working out. You don't work out hard enough.
Yeah, man. You haven't pushed the limits.
That's what we tell people. Well, you haven't shit yourself yet? You're not serious.
You're not going hard.
You're not serious.
Yeah, I actually had a client. It was my first month of personal training. Kind of similar story. Older lady on the crunch machine, and I was trying to adjust her knee position. And as I was going down to that area, man, she just like singed my eyebrows off, and it was a wet one. And I didn't know what to do. I froze. This is my first month of personal training, and I was just like, I chose to not acknowledge it, so I just fought it the whole time. And I was just like, my eyes were watering, and I could smell it. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a shark situation.
I'm sure most trainers probably, ignore it the very first time, right?
Yeah.
I think there is that, like, oh shit, do I say something right here? Especially if they don't say anything, right?
I read a study that depending on the person farting, there's branched amino acids that float in the air, so you might actually get some anabolic effects. At least that's what I tell Justin and Adam.
You can taste it.
Dropping science. Sal always brings the science, man. That's the deal.
Study.
That's the deal.
Yeah, we've heard that.
He's just hella good at Google, bro. Don't be fooled.
The Scientific Fart Studying Institute in Norway.
I'm sure it's out there.
You learned it. All right, so I have some more serious questions that some of my people on social did post. I want to make sure I cover those a little bit. One of them, I told you guys I deal with a lot of people losing a lot of weight, and loose skin always comes up. Recommendations on as you lose weight or after you've already lost a bunch of weight. Do you guys have any sort of mind pump magic with the loose skin situation?
Let's address first the ones that before they lose the weight and trying to prevent that before we talk about the ones that already have it and then what to do, because that's a little bit tougher. I think the big mistake that happens is people become so fixated on the scale and wanting to drop weight so fast that some of it could have been prevented just by taking a slower, more gradual process to losing weight, by adding and building muscle along the way so their skin doesn't have to go through. A lot of it's just like when someone gets pregnant and they're pregnant for 9 months, why women get stretch marks afterwards or lose skin afterwards, because, in 9 months you stretch your belly out like crazy. Well, you got a baby, but that's no different for somebody who puts on body fat. If you put on body fat really, really fast and it doesn't give the skin that natural time to kind of keep up with the growth, it ends up stretching it out. And then the same thing goes for when you go to lose it, you lose it so fast. And then we got this loose skin. So taking a more gradual approach to weight loss, which is hard to tell somebody who wants to lose 50 or 100 pounds, that I know that's your main goal, but to be honest, and this is what I would tell somebody who's starting off to lose 50 or 100 or more weight, I would say, listen, our goal at the beginning actually is not to lose very much weight on the scale at all. In fact, I really just want to get you eating better, lifting weights, and moving more. And if we do this correctly, you should have a nice little even exchange of, you lose 4 or 5 pounds of body fat, you add 3 to 4 pounds of muscle. And so there's really not a major shift on the scale, and there won't be a huge shift in circumference. It's these crazy aggressive diet plans and workout regimens that cause these people to lose the weight so fast that they get this elasticity in their skin.
Yeah, I think that's got to be single most important or impactful thing you can do is just lose weight a little slower and build some muscle, because muscle is going to fill you out a little bit as well. But I guess what you can do besides that, because a big part of what determines how many stretch marks you get or how much loose skin you get and all that stuff is genetic. That's just the biggest factor. Second biggest factor is how fast you lose the weight. Third biggest factor, diet. Although there isn't really any hard evidence that shows that diet can make a huge impact, that doesn't mean it doesn't make a big impact. I just don't think they've studied it in the right context, because we do know that diet will impact your skin in many other ways. It will impact your skin's ability to handle, sunlight. Of course, acne can reflect your diet. The amount of elastin that's in your skin can how healthy it is depending on your hydration. I would recommend a diet that is high in good quality fats, because those fats tend to promote, healthy skin, healthy tissue, good protein in your diet as well, although it doesn't need to be excessive. In fact, too much protein may cause accelerated aging, which may show up on the skin. But a good quality, healthy fats. And then don't do things that damage the skin, like don't smoke cigarettes, and don't eat highly processed foods. So that's really the best thing you could do, is just be super healthy with your process so that your body has everything that it could need to adapt to this new size that you are. And then, but after that, then if you still have loose skin, then there's not much else you can do. But typically you don't see that happen in people unless they're losing tremendous amounts of weight
quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest challenge, is to really slow that process down, because you get excited at the results, as they come, and that's the most, that period in the beginning is the easiest for people to really, start to take on like their nutrition aggressively and their workouts aggressively, because they're starting to see like this change in their body happen so rapidly. And as a coach, that's one of the hardest things, is to rein them in and have them kind of slow things down and be more measured with their approach, because it's exciting and they want to lose the weight and get there quickly, right?
I will say this: it shouldn't prevent anybody from losing weight, or bettering their health, because I've actually had people tell me that was one of the reasons why they didn't want to lose weight, because they were afraid of the loose skin.
Yeah.
It's really, you're attaching your self-image to your body image, and you're so worried about the potential for loose skin that you're going to maintain a lifestyle that's very unhealthy. So don't let it prevent you. It's one of those issues that I tell people we'll deal with it when we get there, if we get there. So let's not worry about it now because
it's funny we went this direction because this is an example of what Mind Pump is all about too, is that, you just heard all the advice on that, and nowhere in there do you hear anything like, oh, you should take vitamin E or rub cream all over it. And it's not to say that these things can't help the skin or isn't going to be good for it. It's that it's just not the big rock. And unfortunately, that this is what the fitness industry does. It finds an insecurity that's common, right? So, there's a lot of people that struggle with this. There's a lot of men and women that have stretch marks or loose skin, and it's an insecurity for them. And instead of telling them the truth, which is, hey, we probably lost too much weight too fast and we need to build some muscle and it's going to take some time to do this, and give them that, it's like, here's this cream that was going to help with the
surgery that'll fix it.
And so that is what they do. And I feel like, you just happen to go this direction, but shit, it could be pretty much anything. This is really what was unique and special about Mind Pump is when we answer questions like this, we typically address it from the perspective of 3 trainers that have trained thousands of people and the real struggles that they're dealing with. And this is not, is it a physical thing? Well, yeah, physically they lost too much weight too fast and they should have done it in a slower process. Now, what's going on though psychologically is what caused that person. What was it that made them want to lose that weight so fast? And that's what needs to be addressed. What needs to be addressed is, these people are so hung up on losing the weight that they didn't go about it the right way. And now these are some of the consequences that they're dealing with because of that. Nobody wants to say that. Instead, we want to sell you a cream that you rub on to try and help prevent it or to make it better or think it's going to go away. When in reality, no, what was wrong was we didn't go about this the right way. We could have done better. Yes, like Sal said, genetics always do play a role. There's certain women that will definitely get stretch marks if they get pregnant, no matter what they do, because it's just in their genes. But there are things and choices that we can make to minimize or mitigate the damage from that. So, and one of, or the most important would be not losing or gaining excessive weight too fast, too soon. And all the other shit is like splitting hairs as far as the difference is the creams and other things that we can do to do it. But, leave it up to the fitness industry. And this is how we address topics like this as we get into the creams and the pills, which is, that's a bunch of shit. And I don't care what study you show me this to show that, oh, well, this does help with that. Well, yeah, sure, it fucking does. But we're not addressing the root cause. The root cause was the psychological part that caused this guy or girl to drop this much weight too fast.
No, I appreciate the honesty with that, because being in the fitness industry and dealing with clients and dealing with people that have weight loss goals, you hit the nail on the head with people really getting into that number and really getting into that scale and being driven by it. And that's what we talk a lot about, non-scale victories and getting, under a bar, I'm a big proponent of lifting weights early on and getting that going just like you guys are. So I appreciate that honesty there. Now, I wanted to be sure to cover a couple of things that I've picked up from your podcast, a couple of helpful tools that you guys recommend. I just wanted to I had some questions pop up about both the Brain.fm and Four Sigmatic. So one person just wanted to know your specific recommendation on the Brain.fm as far as sleeping at night. They asked if you recommend using headphones, if you do, what kind of headphones, or if you just let it play off your phone speaker or what. Like, how are you guys using the Brain.fm right now?
Brain.fm is fucking awesome, and I know each of us use it. I don't know who I might use it the most.
You probably use it the most.
I do the speaker though. You do the headphones quite a bit, right?
I do both. So depends on how I'm using it or what I'm using it for. So if I'm working in the daytime and I'm trying to be focused or getting ready for a workout, I use the focus session. I put them on I use my headphones. But actually at night, Katrina actually loves it also. And we found that when we play it on our little portable Bluetooth Bose, little speaker in our room, we get the same effects. It actually rocks me right to sleep the same way as if I had headphones in my ear. So I do feel
it really is a trip.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's a trip. I used the Focus the other day, and I was super scatterbrained. Did not feel like sitting down and writing. Put the headphones on and use the Focus, and 5 minutes into it, man, I'm like super focused. Like it says,
zeroing in.
It's very interesting. Very interesting how that stuff works.
Yeah, but we all use it, and I think that it works both ways. I do believe that it works better having it in your ears, having some, especially like noise canceling headphones on. I mean, it really sucks you in pretty fast. But I do think it's effective even just playing it over speakers. So, and we interviewed the guys. So it was an interview quite some time back, but we interviewed the scientists and the CEO of the company, and they kind of shared like the best practices on there. Mm-hmm. And they recommended the in-the-ear headphones or noise canceling. But like I said, I've been using it for quite some time on the Bose, and it works fucking great.
I think too that it may be like an FCC thing or whatever. Like they have to kind of recommend more of the headphones, but like I get just as much benefit from the speaker, and I've like loved that, especially if I'm working on my computer and I put it over the speaker and I do focus, like Sal was saying. It's just like so helpful when you have so many things all day long you think about, and it just helps you to kind of like be present and really focus on this one task at hand. I don't know how it works.
That being said, I do recommend though to people that it is something that you intermittently use and don't use too, right? Because I think that there's something to be said. I mean, we talk about this on the show a lot, about our bodies are just adaptation machines. And if you keep doing something over and over, the body gets used to it. And so I don't think you want to completely lose your own abilities.
It's a little bit addictive, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So I will, if I catch myself where I've been using it every night for some time in a row, I'll peel off of it. I try it for me. So now the way Katrina and I use it, it's just like sometimes there's a morning, like this morning would actually be a great example. We had to be both of us had to be up really early. We were out at a wedding out of town, and we didn't get home till midnight, and we were talking, our brain was racing, and just couldn't settle down, knew we had to be up early the next morning, so we threw it on last night. So nights where I know like I need to get to sleep because I don't have very much time before I got to be back up, and I know my mind's already kind of racing, that I try and do it then. If it's just a normal night where I've done my routine, where I've turned most of the electronics off by 7 o'clock and I'm winding down, I try and do it naturally, but I use it as a tool like that. So when I recommend it to people, that's also how I recommend it. I don't recommend that you do it all the time, every time you can, because it does fucking work and it is amazing. But I also think that it's important that you teach yourself to be able to do these things too.
Yeah, as far as the Four Sigmatic is concerned, mushrooms, in terms of using them medicinally or using them for, to augment effects in the body or to balance out the body, mushrooms have been used by most ancient forms of medicine, like Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic medicine, for thousands of years. They have very, very interesting properties. Mushrooms, some in particular, are used purely as adaptogenic substances. That means that they balance the body out. So a lot of times people say, well, what does that mean? Well, if you're in a high state of stress, it will balance out your stress hormones. If your immune system is depressed, it'll boost it up. If your immune system is too active, let's say you have autoimmune issues, it'll help dampen them down. So chaga is a very interesting mushroom that I've now been using more frequently for those purposes. I've noticed some gut health benefits. Adam's using it at the moment to see if it helps with his psoriasis. And then they also have reishi, and if you combine reishi with chaga, which is what I've been doing now for the past few weeks, it is like it is an incredible feeling. Like I get this real calm, smooth, kind of awake feeling from taking that mix. And then cordyceps, that's a good energy producer, athletic, enhancing mushroom or supplement. It's been used for a long time for stamina. You may not notice so much in terms of maximal strength, but if you're a stamina-based athlete, if you do circuits or CrossFit or you run or you play sports or you're some kind of endurance athlete, that's where I notice the benefits of cordyceps. But they're a good company. The way they extract these mushrooms is a dual extraction process, because you do get different compounds when you boil the mushrooms versus when you eat them raw. And I know in Chinese medicine, they'll recommend one or the other. Well, Four Sigmatic kind of does both, so you get all of it. That's what I like best about them.
Nice. Now, on your recommendation with the reishi and the chaga, you said you take that in the morning, or do you do that before bed, or do you? Because I know the reishi, it says like they kind of advertise it as like a nighttime type of thing.
Yeah. So reishi by itself, very relaxing. When I mix it with chaga, I just feel it's calm. I'm definitely calm, but I feel awake and calm. I feel very, God, it's hard to explain. It's a very confident focus. It's not a hyped focus like I would get with caffeine or stimulant. And I prefer it. I prefer the calm focus because, for example, sometimes we'll do podcasts or we have a big guest and I'll drink some coffee, get real psyched. So I have, better verbal fluency, whatever. But then I'll listen to the podcast and I'll be talking really fast, or I'll be a little hyper on the podcast, or I'll be jumping into conversations too quickly. When I do the reishi chaga combination, I'm my tone is better, my pace is better, much more appropriate. I'm just as sharp.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of being in a fasted state and then taking a cold shower. So you know what that feels like, right?
Yeah. You're awake, but you feel calm.
Right.
Yeah.
Clear, awake. You're not like hyped, like you're saying from the caffeine. It's just you feel super wide awake, but also relaxed and calm and very level-headed.
Nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, you guys have specific links to help support the show with both the Four Sigmatic and the Brain.fm. Is that correct? Yeah,
we do. So you could use the code MindPump for both. And I believe Four Sigmatic, you got to go for FOUR Sigmatic SIGMATIC.com/MindPump, and then you get a discount.
I think the Brain FM is the same thing too.
Or is it the same thing?
But
Brain.fm?
Brain FM, you can go. We have a direct link on our website. It's on the
MindPumpmedia.com.
Yeah, you can go directly through there, and they do. I don't know what they have an annual discount. They have a few discounts through us. They hook
it up.
Yeah, yeah. They take care of everybody. We have, in fact, what we set up with them because we met them early on. I don't think anybody else has as good of a discount or connect as what we have with them, and it's been just a long relationship we kept with them. It's a great product, man. They're a bunch of good guys. We really liked it. We hit it off with them a lot, and each of us, anything that we've actually like, that's something too that a lot of people that listen to the show may or may not know is that, for a year, Mind Pump put out episodes and content for free and never monetized or anything. And then when we did start monetizing, it was through our own programs, and most of the programs we created as an answer to something we were discussing on the podcast, and it was a demand that people were asking for. And, for a solid year and a half, we, turned down any and every sponsor that came our way because we all agreed that there's no way that we were going to tie ourselves to something that we all 100% didn't use, believe in, and think that it mattered. And so every product or everything that you see connected to us, all of us, if not all, I shouldn't say all of us, because there's some things like I use more of the Organifi stuff. I would say Sal uses the Four Sigmatic the most, so each of us kind of have, if there's something that we promote or talk about, one of us is probably a huge fan and then the other guys use it intermittently or whatever. But definitely everything that's tied to us, we are all really big fans of.
Yeah, and that comes through when you guys talk about it too. You can tell, and that kind of makes me feel good because I'm in a similar position. I haven't, a year of podcasting, no sponsors, but producing a few products and things like that, and kind of going along a similar path. So that makes me feel good.
Stay that way great. Because there will come a time, and I remember it was very tempting for us because the first companies that come, they're always supplement companies or something like that, and it was we needed money when we were first starting, and it was very, very tempting to take on those sponsors, but we knew that it would definitely muddy our message. And so I think it's paid off in the long run to not do that. And I always highly recommend to any other fitness professionals that are in the same field as we are to do the same thing because they will benefit in the long run. Just because I think too, we've talked about this on the show, the tide is fucking turning, man. A lot of these supplement companies that I've been promoting a lot of the crap for a long time. Like more and more research, more and more stuff is coming out with artificial sweeteners. And man, if you've attached yourself to a supplement line that's chocked full of freaking red dyes and artificial sweeteners and stuff, it's going to be short lived, man.
Or at least you can't call it a health supplement.
Right.
Well, real quick, I know I want to be respectful of you guys' time. You got a busy schedule, I'm sure, today, but I want to make sure that people know where to connect with you guys on social. So let's toss that info out here real quick, and we'll wrap it up.
Instagram is our social media platform of choice. Our main page is Mind Pump Media. And then you can find each of us, just put Mind Pump and then our name. So I'm Mind Pump Sal. There's Mind Pump Adam and Mind Pump Justin.
Awesome.
And the YouTube channel is what we're probably putting most of our energy behind right now. So if you get a chance, I mean, we got Mind Pump TV on YouTube, and every day we drop a new video on there. And that's so if you really enjoy this business and kind of watching what we're doing, you can really see the evolution of that. When we first started it about 8 months ago, we are just kind of basically doing exercise demos, real quick, short videos people can watch on the way to the gym with little bits of information. And now we're starting to evolve it into a little bit of the entertaining side too. So
a lot more production.
Yeah, there's a lot more. We now have a team that handles that, and Taylor heads that up and runs that department, and you'll get to see a lot of cool stuff coming that way. So Mind Pump TV on YouTube is actually another great place. And then our Facebook, Mind Pump. So both the YouTube and the Facebook are probably the two coolest places to drop into with Mind Pump right now, because we're really evolving it. So it's changing right now, and you're seeing us kind of rebrand a bit and changing the website. And so you can watch that progression right now if you're tied into us on Mind Pump Facebook and then Mind Pump TV on YouTube.
Yeah, the YouTube page is awesome. I've been on there, and you can get lost in that sucker with all the info you guys have, and it's free. I mean, that's the thing, is so much great free info out there. It's I know a lot of people will really appreciate that. So, yeah. So with you guys, I just want to take a quick second just to say thanks, to acknowledge you. Thank you for saying yes to coming on the show and addressing questions. And I just want to send out some respect your way, because you guys are doing it the right way, in my opinion. You're putting great information out there. You're being yourselves. You're being true to yourselves and your message, and you're entertaining and funny as hell. And so I just really enjoy the show, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. And I'm trying to follow in your footsteps a little bit. So I appreciate you making some time for me today. Now, everybody out there listening, as always, I want you taking action on what you've learned today. So in the next 24 hours, what is one simple action step you can take from something that you learned in this episode? We know it was highly entertaining. These guys rocked it, but it's also very important to me that you guys are applying the things that you're learning. It's not just pure entertainment. We want to help you make progress towards that goal. And as always, I want you to get out there. I want you to own it. Every meal, every workout, every day. We'll see you on the next episode. All right, now before I let you guys go, I want to remind you one more time to check out this week's sponsor, www.tryaboutTime.com. Enter the promo code Transformation Coach, all connected, all lowercase, Transformation Coach, and save 25% on your total order. I'm throwing in a little bonus in the blog post for this episode. I'm going to post my soon to be world famous Power Protein Pudding recipe. It is delicious. It is delightful. I use the About Time Mocha Mint flavored protein powder. It is awesome. You guys won't want to miss it. Head on over to the blog, transformationcoach.me/blog. Check out episode 63, and you'll get that recipe. Let me know what you think. We'll see you on the next episode.